follow because the Quran never says the disciples knew that he wasn't crucified. What does it say in the Quran?
Oh, so they were preaching he was crucified.
They believed he was crucified, and that doesn't necessitate Christianity.
Okay, you guys heard it here. Libiano thinks the disciples were preaching Jesus was crucified. Okay,
That's exactly what Ibn Taymiyyah says.
People like Ibn
That's
Kathir
exactly
under
what
the bus, he said the
says.
disciples knew this. The disciples
Is this is not responding. This is my position. Does this contradict Islam?
No, I said God's predestination is based on God's foreknowledge, meaning God predestines that which he eternally knows.
So, in this clip, we hear you say, the disciples believed Jesus was crucified, the Quran never says they knew otherwise, and that the belief doesn't necessitate Christianity. And in the second video, you say that Allah's predestination is based on his foreknowledge. Perfect. Now, I'm going to put both those two admissions under scrutiny. Simple question for you. Does Allah will, decree and create what he eternally knew he himself would create? Or did Allah will, decree and create what he saw his creatures would freely choose? Quran 28:68. Your Lord creates what he wills and chooses. They have no choice. So, if you mean what you said, that Allah's predestination is based on foreknowledge, then your model is that Allah looks ahead, sees what the slave will freely choose, and then Allah decrees and actualizes the world in accordance to his slave's motives and desires. Congratulations, you've just now made Allah the slave of his slaves. Now, the slave's choice is a real difference maker and has the power to specify what obtains between A and not A, and Allah's decree just reacts to it. Now let's collapse that into your line. The disciples believed it themselves, you said. So on your view, Allah decrees a world where he sets the scene, a fake Jesus on the cross, Allah steps back and lets the creatures decide what to believe. So the truth maker, which is the thing that explains the difference between the world where the disciples believe Jesus was crucified and the world where they don't, is now split between creator and creature. That's straight Qadariya territory. You've now put the human will in as a co-determiner of history. Now let's double down. Did Allah will, decree and create what he knew he would create and choose? Or did Allah merely foreknow what his creatures would believe when he showed them a lookalike on the cross, and then Allah decreed the world around their choices? Did Allah allow his creatures to co-determine history? Or did Allah will, decree and create the whole thing himself? Now at this point, you're going to try and backtrack and say the safe line, which is no, well, Allah created their motives, their desires, and specifies their acts, including their belief that Jesus was crucified. Great. Now you're at least being honest with your Islamic framework and what Tawheed demands. So now, Allah is the truth maker of the false belief. The difference maker between guidance and misguidance is Allah, and the direct cause of the error is Allah. This is no longer permissive, it's not passive. Allah is not looking into the future of his slaves' choices and then decreeing a world in accordance with them. It is causal. Now, the disciples did not misbelieve freely by some self-originated motives or desires or intentions or choices. They believed exactly what Allah instantiated in them, because Allah creates every motive, every desire, and specifies all content. The slave only acquires and experiences the world as a conscious NPC. And that falls into the very thing you pretend to hate, Jabr, fatalism. You don't get any other option without fracturing Tawheed Rububiyyah and making Allah the servant of his slaves. So, you don't get to say that Allah decreed, willed, and created everything, but humans can still difference make while the decree is fixed. So, your position collapses into one of the two. Either you verbalize what the Qadariya say, that humans self-originate, difference make, and specify content, and are a real secondary cause. That now fractures Tawheed al-Rububiyyah and splits the PSR between creator and creature. Or, you verbalize the safe, occasionalist Ash'ari line, the very people you call the Jabriya, and keep Tawheed al-Rububiyyah intact, which will be Allah decrees, wills, and creates a world based on his knowledge of what Allah chooses, and there is no human freedom, just a conscious experience of life with no real difference-making power. Belief needs a truth maker. Whoever you assign that truth maker role to is who really determines what reality obtains. So halas, either your slaves co-authoring the story with Allah, or your God authored their very false belief in the crucifixion himself, and they're just along for the ride.
It doesn't follow because the Quran never